The pharaohs of Egypt still capture our imagination. They ruled a civilization that lasted for 3,000 years. Their world was one of golden masks, towering pyramids, mysterious gods. We look at their statues and wonder about their lives. Who were these men and women who held absolute power? They were not just kings, they were considered living gods on earth. This divine status gave them authority beyond any modern ruler. Their duty was to maintain cosmic order, or Mayat, ensuring the sun would rise, ensuring the Nile would flood. Their stories are etched in stone from the deserts of Nubia to the Mediterranean coast. Their names echo through history: Khufu, Hatshepsut, Akhenaten, Tutankhamun. Each name tells a story of ambition, faith, struggle. They were builders, warriors, priests. They commanded vast armies. They commissioned monuments that still defy belief. How did they convince thousands to build such colossal structures? What secrets did they take to their lavish tombs? Before the pharaohs, Egypt was a land of two halves. The fertile Nile Delta in the north was Lower Egypt. The long river valley to the south was Upper Egypt. Distinct cultures, often in conflict, competing along the vital artery of the Nile. Around 3100 BC, Narmer, also called Menes, united the two lands, birthing the Egyptian state. He established Memphis, strategically placed at the junction of Upper and Lower Egypt. The first pharaohs had to create a government from scratch. They managed the economy, administered justice, and defended the borders. Most importantly, they forged a shared identity through divine kingship. The pharaoh was the earthly embodiment of Horus. His word was law, his duty to stand between gods and people. They laid administrative foundations that lasted for millennia. They developed hieroglyphic writing to record history, manage taxes, and issue royal orders. They began royal burials in mastabas, precursors to the Great Pyramids. These pioneers transformed a divided land into a centralized kingdom, uniting people, divinizing authority, and embracing monumental ambition. The Old Kingdom is often called the Age of the Pyramids. It was a time of peace, prosperity, and architectural innovation, reaching its zenith under the 4th dynasty and a king named Khufu. Around 2580 BC, Khufu embarked on history's most audacious project, the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was not just a tomb, it was a resurrection machine, ensuring his rebirth as a god among the stars. Its staggering scale proclaimed absolute power and organizational genius. The project mobilized tens of thousands of skilled workers, not slaves, supported by unprecedented logistics. A purpose-built city fed, housed, and healed them, complete with bakeries, breweries, and medical facilities. Fine limestone came from Tura, granite from Aswan, traveled down the Nile. Each block, 2.5 tons, set with astonishing precision. The pyramid's perfect geometry aligned to the cardinal points, binding Khufu's eternity to cosmic order. It stood within a sacred complex, queens, pyramids, temples for worship, and the enigmatic Great Sphinx, perhaps bearing Khafra's face. Despite the monument, Khufu himself is an enigma, known from a tiny 3-inch ivory statue and little else. Greeks like Herodotus called him a tyrant who bankrupted Egypt. Egyptian sources depict a powerful, respected ruler. The truth lies buried deeper than any chamber. The ideology endures. Timeless, mysterious, monumental. His project set a standard successors never equaled, a symbol of Egypt itself. Centuries after the pyramid builders, a woman took the throne in a way no one had before. Her name was Hatshepsut. She refused to be merely a regent or queen. She declared herself pharaoh. She adopted full royal titulary and was depicted with a male body and the pharaonic beard. In a system where the king was Horus incarnate, a female pharaoh challenged the cosmic order. To legitimize her rule, she proclaimed a divine birth by Amun-Re, carved at Deir el-Bahri, casting her reign as destiny. Hatshepsut emphasized peace and trade, launching a famed expedition to Punt. Ships returned with gold, ivory, ebony, and live incense trees planted in her temple courtyards. She commissioned hundreds of projects, restoring old sanctuaries and erecting new monuments to the gods. After 2 decades, she was erased. Names chiseled away, statues smashed, until 19th century archaeologists pieced her story back together. Hatshepsut upends assumptions about gender and power, brilliance, propaganda, and resilience in stone. In the 14th century BC, a pharaoh came to the throne who turned Egypt's world upside down. Born Amenhotep IV, he became Akhenaten. He abandoned the traditional pantheon, outlawed Amun-Re's powerful cult, and closed its temples. He raised the Aten, the solar disk, as a single universal deity, Asen. Breaking with Thebes, he founded a new capital, Akhenaten, horizon of the Aten. There he and Nefertiti with their daughters lived as sole intermediaries between God and humanity. Art itself changed. Stiff forms gave way to fluid naturalism, elongated skulls, slender limbs, intimate family moments. The old priesthood lost wealth and power. Ordinary people saw their local gods and afterlife hopes cast aside. The Amarna letters reveal a king inattentive to Near Eastern allies as the empire frayed. His revolution died with him. Amarna was abandoned. Successors, including young Tutankhamun, restored the old gods and erased the heretic king. Was he a mystic monotheist or a political tactician breaking Theban power? His motives remain one of Egypt's great mysteries. No pharaoh is more famous than Tutankhamun, yet in his time he was a minor king, ruling about a decade, dead at 19. He was Akhenaten's son. His role was to undo the revolution, changing his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun, moving court to Thebes, restoring temples. He was essentially a puppet king, guided by General Horemheb and the Elder Eye. His fame comes from his death. In 1922, Howard Carter found his nearly intact tomb. The world was stunned. Golden chariots, intricate furniture, statues, and daily items for the afterlife. In the burial chamber lay 3 nested coffins, the innermost over 240 pounds of solid gold, and the king's mummy beneath the iconic mask. If such wealth lay with a minor king, what splendor filled the tombs of Ramses II before plunder? Modern science reshaped the story. Health issues, a clubfoot, likely walked with a cane. Over 130 canes in his tomb. He had malaria and a broken leg that became infected before death. A frail young man, far from royal ideal, yet the most famous in death. His legacy, golden guides to eternity. A minor king in life, immortalized by treasure. If Tutankhamun is famous for his tomb, Ramses II is famous for his reign. He ruled for 67 years into his 90s, the ultimate pharaoh, a master of propaganda, tireless builder, formidable warrior, covering Egypt with monuments, often carving his name over others. To later Egyptians, he was the great ancestor. At Kadesh, his reliefs proclaim a stunning victory. Ramses charging alone, scattering Hittites. Reality likely a stalemate. Ramses barely escaped. It yielded the world's first known peace treaty. He built or finished more monuments than any pharaoh, Karnak's hypostyle, the Ramesseum, and Abu Simbel, 2 temples carved from a mountain. Twice a year, sunrise beams into the sanctuary to illuminate the gods and Ramses himself. With numerous wives and over 100 children, his long, stable reign became a golden age. 9 later pharaohs took his name. Ramses crafted an image of divine authority that has lasted millennia. Pharaohs ruled not just with armies and bureaucrats, but with a powerful language of symbols. Symbols carved and painted everywhere reinforced divine right. White crown, Hedjit, Upper Egypt. Red crown, Deshret, Lower Egypt. Double crown, Shent, unity of the two lands, the Uraeus cobra, believed to spit fire at enemies, the crook to guide, the flail, authority and fertility, together guidance and power. Each king bore 5 names, political manifestos, he who establishes justice. No, strong bull, beloved of Arntar, encircled by the cartouche, the dominion over all the sun and circles, pyramids, machines for rebirth, obelisks, petrified sunbeams, colossi to awe and intimidate. Architecture turned the land into a stage for royal ideology, a monumental declaration of eternal power. The age of the pharaohs ended long ago, but their legacy is woven into world history. They forged an enduring civilization, government, writing, engineering, art, foundations later cultures built upon. Greeks, Romans, the nation state, bureaucracy, and monumental architecture as political tools. Pioneered along the Nile. Pharaohs demand we ask, what is the nature of authority, military might, divine right, or consent of the governed? Hatshepsut and Akhenaten show power must be justified through propaganda and radical change. Ramses proves the power of legacy. Their obsession with the afterlife asks universal questions, mortality, meaning, and what comes next. From Narmer's unification to Ramesside grandeur, they show, what unity and human vision can build, and remind us that even god kings were humans, seeking to leave a lasting mark.